Alright, so I've made my decision, and basically, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go ahead and just keep this one channel. I thought about, doing um the two channels, but I it's gonna be too hard. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep this channel as my main channel now. So yeah, it's gonna go under another name change, and I'm gonna be going ahead and adding more content. Uh, the final name change will be back to MTVG Network Universe Studios. Or I might just MTVG Network. Um, one of them. So basically, in this video, I know I did it on the live channel, but I'm gonna go ahead and redo it on this channel. Uh, just because, like I just said, I will be closing that channel as soon as I can. Uh, Basically, I've decided to go ahead and just keep this one channel. Um, Alright, I want to go ahead and wrap up the horror season this year, the Halloween parks that I went to but didn't really go to. I mean, thanks to YouTube, I could do it virtually now. Some of them were streaming. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the parks, and I'm gonna go ahead and start with the four major parks, and then at the end. Well, no, actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and start off with the little haunts, the local haunts, and my thoughts on those. And then I'm going to go ahead and basically, you know, do that. So yeah. Alright, so some of the haunts that I did see were the Stay and Scream and Stream, which was a drive-through haunt that basically, was actually a good haunt. Um, you know, I did like how this year that they did more interactive than they did last year. I mean, you stayed in the car, yeah, like you did last year, but this year it actually you can use laser tag guns where you get to shoot the zombies. Um, I felt that that was interesting, and it looked like fun. Um, it was interesting that they added the element where you get to shoot the zombies and they shoot you back. So yeah, that was a little fun. That was more better than last year. Um Basically, then you had your haunted hay rides, um which basically a little tour. um so yeah, I mean there were more haunts this year. um they did have social distancing. I mean, I understand because they are low budgets. Um, so yeah, I mean, my favorite is at Scream and Stream. Uh, as of a local haunt. Again, like I said, I didn't really go to them, but because of YouTube, a lot of people did put that on there. So I mean, yeah. And now let's go talk about the regular parks. Um, there are, and Knott's Berry Farm. Four: Knott's Berry Farm, Disney, Universal, and Busch Gardens Seaworld, which is owned by the same company. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start with Knott's Berry Farms. Um, I mean, Knott's Berry is out in California. So I did see that, and it actually is interesting that it basically it was okay for what it. Knott's Berry. I mean, I don't think Knott's Berry is you know a big park, and I don't think they want to be. I know they want to compete, but I mean, um, they're not as big of a studio as Disney or Universal. I mean, they are California's version of Orlando's SeaWorld slash Tampa's Busch Gardens. Uh, but like I said, it's oh again, they're not a big park, so you don't really see the scenes that you could see at Disney or Universal. Uh, again, Universal's a movie studio. Well, California is a movie studio. Orlando's just Universal. Oh. Um so yes. I would give Knott's Berry's Halloween a 6 out of 10. Just because of the fear and fun. Again, they're not allowed to touch you, but it did look like though I could say maybe 2 or 3 houses from what I've seen. Basically, made me cringe a little bit because of the gore. But yet again, it was alright. And now let's go to Seaworld. I get SeaWorld. This is the first year that SeaWorld absolutely, had a Hollow Scream event. I know they rebooted it, but they at least could have tried to stay close to the actual first Hollow Scream. At least giving people the notice that, this is what Hollow Scream's about. And I'll get to the Hollow Scream Busch Gardens as well. Right after this. But I know SeaWorld wanted to do what Busch Gardens already did with their haunted houses the first time. Uh, and I know they're like 20, 30 minutes away from each other. So you go to one Hollow Scream, and it's not like the second Hollow Scream, which is in Tampa. I think this is their 7th or 8th. But so getting back to that, now I understand Busch Gardens didn't really want to go back to what they did, but at least what they could have done was at least if somebody was going to say Tampa first, and they lived in Orlando, and they were going the same night. Like I said, they're about 30 to an hour apart. What they could have done, I'm talking about Busch Gardens because Busch Gardens does own SeaWorld. They could have had a little bit of history in here, like Universal Diaz this year. They could have gone back, and told people this is how it was first ran. Because say again, like I said, somebody goes to SeaWorld. To Busch Gardens first, spends about a couple hours there, and then goes to the one at SeaWorld because they live in Orlando. They may say, hey, look, we just went to the one in Tampa. Um, this is different. Why is that? Um, they could just basically said, "Hey, here's a little bit of history. If you're going to Hall of Scream for the very first time in Orlando, here, this is what you're gonna see. This is what it's about." But yet again, they just continue to do what they've been doing for the past not when. Hold on, let me double check and see when the Hall Scream did start. It was in 2000, so about, where were we in 21 years ago. Oh, they could have at least had a history um house, and but they didn't. So actually, I'm kind of, you know, I see how the guests would be confused, like I did say. And now Disney, they have two. One in California, which is Oogie Boogie's Bash, and they have one here in Florida, which is Mickey's Not So Scary. Area. Um, Oogie Boogie Bash is more, villains party. How they take over the park, how they finally were able to beat Mickey on Halloween night. Uh, Basically, but it's still kid friendly. So, I mean, but it's the villains part. Uh, I mean, it's nice to see that Disney's actually using their villains and good guys into their parks. Um, you know, um, I mean, from what I've seen, I'm going to give Oogie Boogie the better of the Mickey's Not So Scary, because, again, it's nice to see how the villains took over the park and how they won over in California. Because you're so used to seeing, even in movies, Disney movies, where the good guy wins, and you know, and that's been a long time for Disney, where the good guys defeat the villains. So yeah, and now you got Universal. You've got over in Orlando. You've got Universal 30 Years of Fear featuring Jack, the very first icon. A lot of history here. Um, it's interesting how they tied in um, the 30 years. I get California, Universal Studios Hollywood, I keep calling it California, wanted to do different things, which they did with the Terror Tram. They did not have, um, you know, Texas Chainsaw. They went with Halloween, and Michael Myers instead. Um, they also went with Terror Tram, which Florida does not have. There are a couple things that, again, like I said, California is a working movie studios. Orlando isn't. Um, but like I said, I do like Orlando's better because of the history that they brought in. As for houses, I think the best house at Orlando was the HHN Icons. Again, history, it being history. Um, yeah. So, it was a very fun Halloween season. Some parks, like I said, they dropped the ball, like Busch Gardens, Seaworld. And then I get it that, they're trying to compete with the bigger parks as of, Disney and Universal. But yet again, Disney and Universal are movies. They have movies. So they get money. They can uh do the better settings, the better gore. Uh Universal are king of the monsters. Uh Universal's more of a monster studios than Disney. Disney's more of a family friendly. E um I do like Universal. Again, I'm not gonna. It's basically, Universal have been for over 30 years. They've been the monster. They are the first studios to actually create the monsters in the Monsters universe. So yeah, basically, um, that's it for the Halloween season. Uh, Thank you for joining on this video. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and actually drop more videos in about 10 minutes or so. Oh, more live videos like this. I still have the Chucky 1 through 5. Don't forget episode 6 is tonight to actually drop. I'm gonna be going ahead and talk about horror. Oh no, you know what? I'll wait until next week to redo the horror one. If you want to see the horror one, um, go ahead and go to the universe, because there is one more horror movie coming out next week I want to see. Um, and that is Resident Evil. So I'll wait on that. Give me about 10-15 minutes and I'll redo the Chucky ones on this channel. So, yeah.